Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of the Behind the Stripes podcast. My name is Rama, Peroo. I'm joined today by Cowley College head men's basketball coach Donnie Jackson, who's filling in for Coach Dave Burroughs. Coach, thanks for filling in today.
Appreciate you guys having me again.
Well, you did so good the last time. We had to ask you back. And we got a great guest with us today. Three-time national champion coach, 20 conference titles, 14 region titles here at Cowley. Happy to have with us today Cowley head cross country and track and field head coach Cameron Rieth. Coach, congratulations on a great season once again, and thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to have you with us. And, as we do with all of our guests, I know about you, obviously, been friends with you since you've been here at Cowley, but there's a lot about you I don't know, and our guests don't either. So tell us about where life started for you and kind of what was growing up like for you.
Well, I am from Kansas, born and raised my whole life. I grew up, and I'm proud to say I grew up and was raised in Garden City, Kansas, and it's kind of like shaped who I am as a person. That's just something I'm really, really proud to say that I grew up there, and like it kind of, like all my work ethic and I think is just attributed to growing up there, and it just made me really appreciate a lot of things that we got out here too, though.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, were you involved in any kind of athletics, any kind of activities, things that you were interested in when you were a youngster?
I did all the sports, man. Like, and pretty averagely, you know what I mean? But like one thing that like, as far as like when it like kind of stumbled onto running is like whenever we did anything kind of like that, it was like I excelled at. Like we did we always did like the school tests where you test your aerobic capacity. With running and stuff, and I just kind of naturally was good at it. But I think a big part of that was my dad was a runner as well, and like seeing his medals, seeing his trophies, like that's kind of cool. Like let me kind of check that out a little bit, and that's kind of how I fell into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So your dad was a runner then,
Yep.
or okay?
He ran for Ingalls High School, and he had a couple school records there for like 30 years or whatever like that. But
wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, most definitely. Coach, being a basketball coach, how the running is so much involved in your sport, and so I'm sure you have a great appreciation for being an athlete and someone that runs for a hobby and for a passion, because a lot of times you're telling your guys to take laps and it's not their funnest thing to do, but I'm sure you got an appreciation for someone who has the stamina and you know what it takes to be an athlete like that.
Well, honestly, I if I didn't play basketball, I would have wanted to run cross country, and I always remember that was the aspect I liked most is when we did distance runs, and I'd always win those. I didn't win the sprints all the time, but I always won the distance ones, and whether 18-minute 3-mile was good or not, but it led the team.
Excellent, yeah.
So, but to piggyback off Rama there, where did you attend college, and did you run track and field?
Yes, I did. I stayed home. I went to the Garden City Community College. I'm a Bronc Buster. So brown and yellow, had a full closet of it because like my high school was brown and yellow as well. And then after Garden City, I went to Fort Hays. So and was blessed to be a part of great coaches both ways. So,
well, to piggyback off that, since you grew up in Garden, there's been a lot of changes out there with all the new buildings and how the town shaped, and even the growth in Hays. Have you been back to either one to see the growth in both communities?
Oh yeah, like I go back, my family is all in Garden, so like I go back there quite a bit. So like I've just seen all that, and it's just awesome to see the growth in community and this like it's nice. It's really, really good to see.
And how about Hays?
Oh yeah, that as well. Like the main thing that they've changed is the main streets. I'm blanking on the name of it, but they put both places at, like when I was at Garden City, they didn't even have they had a track, but it was barely there. But they completely redid the track, and it's looking really, really nice. And then on the Fort Hays side of things, they've built that indoor facility. They've built the track outside of the football facility as well. So good for them.
Yeah.
Looking back on your college days, there at Garden City Community College and then at Fort Hays, how were you as an individual runner, and how were your teams? And then also, what did you take away from some of the coaches you learned from there?
When I was at Garden City, like my freshman year, it was a little bit rough, but like I think that's normal. Even like I was staying at, like, one of the biggest things is I was staying at home and saving money. That was the biggest thing when it came to why I chose to go there. But the freshman year, I struggled a little bit, mainly just because, fumbling my way through life. But the second year, we really had an incredible class that came in. One of the guys that came in ended up being a pro for ASICS. But we won the region championship. We actually, well, I shouldn't say we won, but we tied Cowley in 2008. And then we ended up getting third in the nation that year. I was All-American. But it was a really, really cool experience on that type of thing. And it was just a good build-up for whenever I went to Fort Hays. And it really matured. I figured out what it took to be a collegiate athlete. You can't just live like a normal, ordinary college. You just can't. Like, you have to go to bed at a decent time. You have to take care of your body. You have to do the work in the off season. And that was really never too much of an issue for me. But like how to do it was. I was, like I said, I was kind of fumbling my way through it for a couple years. But then once we figured it out, then boom, a lot of growth happened. So as far as the coaches go, Dan Delgado was my coach at Garden City, and like in passion, like an incredible human being. He's the swim coach at Garden City High School right now. And I remember he told me, he's like, Cam, I don't know much about swimming, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to find somebody that knows how to do it. And like within a year, they won the conference championship. Like,
wow.
he was just a really incredible motivator. Incredible. Like, one thing about coaching, you got to know people, and that's, I think a good coach can win regardless of the sport if he's got people around him that know the sport. But it's all about putting together good teams and creating a culture. And that's one thing that he was really, really good at. And then Jason McCullough was my coach at Fort Hays, and I learned on it was like a learning tree almost every single day. And whenever I first started coaching, I was a volunteer there for 4 years, and he's an incredibly driven, inspiring guy to be around too. So it was like every day you were learning something from him. So, and learning how to program workouts, you're learning how to he's very, very on top of his things when it comes to planning. He has a very, very good work to personal life balance, which I kind of struggle with, but it's something to strive to be, But yeah, it's good.
Well, and then looking back at being a junior college athlete when you first started, did that help you become when you're now a junior college head coach too, that you can relate to where these kids, are coming from and where they want to go?
100%. Absolutely. It was, and I think the biggest thing I took away from it was and I used to coach at a 4-year. Like, when you're at a 4-year, and I was a volunteer at Hays, you have juniors and seniors to kind of lean on. Here you have freshmen, sophomores. Right. And that's the biggest difference, I feel like. You and a lot of time, you can attest to this too. You're graduating 50, 60% of your class. You're trying to get your freshmen to grow up pretty quick. And then, like, whenever your sophomores graduate, it's just like, holy crap, that was really, really fast.
You see a lot of growth in a short period of time.
Exactly. And you have to talk about it. Like, when you're coaching a 4-year, you can the freshmen, sophomores can kind of fumble their way around for two years. And that's one of the beauties about JUCO. And I think 4 years look this way because you're going to have a mature, developed person by the time you get out of here. Yeah. Now, that you have to have some of these hard conversations with these athletes to, maybe if they need it,
Right.
So it just really, really depends.
Sure. Now, you got your head coaching start. Was that at Colby?
Yes.
Then? Okay.
Just kind of go back trace a little bit. I did some volunteer coaching at Fort Hays, but I really got my start and my teeth sunk in with my student teaching I did at Victoria High School, which is a little 1A, about 60 people in the whole high school, with Randy Stanley, who's been doing it for probably since the Stone Ages. But learning from him was incredible. Okay. And learning it at a small school where you had to take what you got.
Right.
And cultivate and build a team out of that. Most of the team was very small, but pretty much the whole school went out for the track team, which was cool. And then after that, I did a semester at Hays High, and I was getting paid $1,500 for Hays High cross country. and I thought I was a millionaire. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
like, I'm getting
Oh,
paid
yeah.
to do this. So, and I was like,
you get away.
I did. So I was still volunteering at Hayes in the mornings for the morning practices. I went and changed car oil with my brother to pay the bills essentially, and I get off at 2:30, go straight to Hayes High cross country, change out of my oil stain clothes to help out with Hayes High, which was another. I did that with Brent Kaiser and the head coach was Gerald Harrison. It was just another step in the learning tree. You learn how to. One thing those two guys were really good at was connecting with the kids, and it was just awesome. It was one of those things like feather in the hat. I need to learn some more things.
Sure.
But then I did, like right around that time, I was figuring I really want to do the college environment. I probably put 30 or 40 applications out there. Didn't get any, an email or a letter back from any of them. So, I was really looking into being a teacher. But, eventually Colby came open. And I was a nervous wreck when I went on that. I went on an in-person interview, fumbled my way through. I was shocked that they called me back. But come to find out, they actually hired another guy initially. And that fell out, and they called me. We were already a week into the Fort Hays season, and they called me on a Friday. I moved on Sunday with my brother, and first day in the office was Monday.
Wow.
A week behind, like probably 3 months of, how the summer goes.
Oh, yeah.
Three months behind with all that kind of goes, but like that was my first year. I had 5 girls. One of them was a thrower, and 4 guys, and hit the ground running. Literally hit the ground running. Like you're figuring things out while you're figuring things out.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny also hearing you talk about you getting your first head coaching opportunity, because I remember mine like yesterday too, like every detail.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's fun hearing that you remember those same kinds of things.
I still remember that first month, literally everything.
It's a train wreck.
It's like you're there from 6 a.m. until almost 10 p.m. just to try to get caught up. And,
And you got a lot of makeup work to do in a short period of time.
Yes. So.
How did that move come from Colby then to Cowley? What was it about the Cowley opening that interested you, and how did you end up here at the school?
I think the thing that kind of put me on the radar, so I told you about that first year with the group. The next year, our women won conference, got 3rd in the region. The year after that, 2017, Dan Adler, who was the coach before me here, had a heck of a team. They were ranked number 2 in the nation in 2017. Okay. My women were ranked 6th at one point, or 8th. The course for that region championship was in Garden City. And I know that course like the back of my hand.
That's so.
And it's a tough course. So I was like, ladies, and that year I had some dogs on the women's side. And on the guys' side, we did well too. But on the women's side, like I'm like, hey, our goal, region championship, we're going to be top 5 in nationals. Like, we're going to do it. And I knew how to train for that course. I'm like, all right, that's one thing in my back pocket that we got. That's because the Garden City's clear out there in the middle. If you have no exposure to that, then you don't know what it takes to do well at that course. The Buffalo Dunes. So we trained for that course, and we beat Cowley by 1 point.
Wow.
And I think that put me on the radar with Coach Phillips, who was the head coach at the time. And, fast forward a year and a half and some change, and I think Dan was looking at other opportunities outside of Cowley, and the position became available. And Coach Phillips sent me an email, and I was like, let's talk. Like, I'll chat with you, just because I know, even when I was at Garden City, like it was a Garden City Cowley rivalry on the cross country side of things, and Cowley had potential, and my whole goal was I would love to be in contention to win national championships, and I called him and I was like, hey, let me come check it out, and then Coach Phillips drove me around. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a place. The areas around Arc City is incredible for distance running. It's incredible. So hills, dirt roads, this scenic views, all that kind of stuff. So that was the biggest pull. And then obviously working alongside Coach Phillips was a big part of it.
You mentioned Coach Phillips. I'd like to just talk about him for a moment too. He was a legendary cross country and track coach here, beloved by so many.
Yes.
So I'm glad you brought up Coach Phillips' name. You know, taking over for Dan Adler, but getting to coach with Mark Phillips there for a little bit. What did you learn from Coach Phillips during your time with him? And I'm sure you feel fortunate to be someone to be able to walk in his shoes and be able to carry on their tradition here at Cowley.
No doubt. Like big shoes to fill with Dan Adler too. Like that guy was he did a great job for his limited time stay here. But the biggest thing with Coach Phillips was like you'd go there, and I still remember like he was there every day at 8 a.m. He was clockwork you can tell he's done this a time or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the biggest thing I learned from him was, and he's a USATF Coaches Hall of Fame coach. So it's like, man, the biggest thing I learned from him was he made complex situations very easy. And not even situations, but like he taught me how to be way ahead with planning, get ahead with the logistics of things. And with track, it's all about that when it comes to when you got like 50, 60, 70 kids that you got to coordinate. That's one thing I've learned from him. And then he knows a little about everything when it comes to things. And but it was very, very it was really, really easy because coming in and then not only having to worry about my side of the squad and then helping out whenever he needed help out with was just so invaluable that it was nice to have it. Because when I was at Colby, I was fumbling my way through it. Yeah. And then you're everything for everybody. So having two people that split that load was incredible.
I'm sure. Coach, go right ahead. You got some questions?
Yeah, I know on the basketball side what I feel like makes a successful basketball player, what makes a successful runner and team, because we have guys working together. Yours is more individualistic. So what attributes success to you in those areas?
It depends on the season. Like during cross, it's way, way, way more team oriented. Pack time, you wanna. I think the individual characteristics are pretty similar. You want somebody that's pretty driven, pretty self-motivated, pretty disciplined. Like those are the main things. And one thing about JUCO is you're not going to get everything out of everybody. That's our job, is to kind of like walk people through things and show them how to do it more than anything. Show them what it looks like. I'll take developmental kids that nobody even looked at for, in high school and then mold them and shape them into next level runners, whether they go NAIA, D2 or D1. But the biggest thing is you want like with JUCO in particular, you're graduating 50, 60 people every year, percent of your people. The biggest thing is you want to do team activities and spend more time on that than that's one of the things else I had to learn too, is you really have to make it a point to put these people that have no idea about each other and almost set up time for them to get to know each other, rather than just go back to their rooms and fiddle with their phones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
So I think that's the biggest thing. And then once you get that really moving, it kind of takes care of itself. I don't want to be a helicopter coach. I'm sure you don't want to either. So if you cultivate what you want and kind of follow up with it a couple times, they'll get the hang of it.
Well, you made an interesting point. You're trying to find maybe not the finished product.
Exactly.
So when you're talking about the project, I mean, when you're looking at that kid, what is appealing? What characteristics are you looking for in the project? 'Cause there's different levels of projects. So
absolutely.
What are you kind of looking for?
The biggest thing I talk with my kids about too is my whole goal for every one of you is to get A to B. Hey, you guys are way, way too far out here trying to go C, D, D when you haven't even done A to B. Okay, so whatever that looks like. So as far as a runner goes, without getting too in the weeds with things, but I want people that want to be good. And that looks, whatever that is for everybody. Is it building your volume up as far as your mileage? Is that getting you faster? Is it smoothing things out with their technique? is it just getting consistent? There's a whole host of things, like it really depends on the people. Like I coached my guys team this year way different than my girls team. That's another thing. Because my girls team were mainly mid-distance runners that came up to the 5K. A lot of my guys were, 5K, 10K guys or mile 5K guys, as opposed to, I think I only have one straight up mid-distance runner on the guys side. So in my whole girls team, 6 of them, 7 of them, they're mainly mid-distance. So I can't put a lot of volume on them because they're not able to handle it. And honestly, they don't need it.
Right.
So.
Well, Coach made a good question there about, what do you consider a successful runner, successful team? How about what do you attribute to your 3 national championships in cross country and your numerous top 20 finishes in track and field? You just had a third straight indoor conference title for the ladies. What do you attribute to your success you've been able to have at Cowley?
Getting good people around you. That's the biggest thing. Like having any success that we've had as far as a team goes, it was the team deciding that they wanted to do it. Like I can say, we were going to win a national title every year. The team has to decide they want to do it. And then doing the work whenever we're not here, because you can't step into cross-country season without doing some kind of work over the summer. And I'm not going to be there. I can't be there to babysit for everybody because they're from all over.
Right.
That's one negative about JUCO is like you got to come in ready. And those are some talks that we kind of talk over the summer about, and just like, hey, you want to come in, otherwise the season's not going to go the way you want. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing is just setting some helping them out. Like I give them every one of them a plan to do over the summer. And I'm not even saying you don't even have to bat 100% on this. Like get 80, 85% on this, and it's going to help you way more than not doing anything, or even doing 10% of it,
Sure.
We don't want that, but I'd say that's the biggest thing is people that want to be good and that want to be coached and that want to get along with their teammates, because, we've all had histories of that, of people that just don't like to get along.
Or work hard.
Yes.
And they hold you back.
Exactly. And I'm a big believer in this. I'd rather have, lesser talented people that want to be a part of a team, that are excited about each other, that want to celebrate each other's victories, whether, that's running a faster time or running a long run together, than somebody that's super individualistic, that are only focused on themselves. And, I've had great teams, great on paper individuals do less as a team than some years as lesser individuals that are great teams, and that they pull each other up and lift each other up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So, yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing. And then on the track side of things, it's like completely two polar opposites. I have the 2 best assistants in the region.
Glad you mentioned that. Yes.
Yeah.
Glenwood Edwards and Parker Ray. I'll speak that till I pat them on the back, give them their praise as much as they can. Coach Edwards is our throws guy. Mm-hmm. He handles all the throws, and then Parker is like jack of all trades. Does the sprints, does the pole vault, does the relays, does the jumps. He does like the 4x1 and the sprints, so having those type of guys, they and the biggest thing with them, I don't want to have to worry about what they're doing. They're like, hey, take this part of the program and you make it yours.
And that's great that you have that kind of trust in those 100%. Guys that you can just say, here, take it and run with it. So.
I know that, there's some head coaches that they want to monitor all that. I don't want to. And it's a blessing to not have that on my plate. I'm like, you guys do that, you do your thing. I know you're going to handle your business.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and they've been fantastic.
Esteban Basso, is that how you say his
Yes.
last name? I'd be remiss not to mention being the NJCAA Division II cross-country national champion. It was on ESPN, the highlights of him running in the snow. It was just such a cool, dramatic
Majestic,
scene,
right?
wasn't it? It was.
Oh,
and
man.
I had family reaching out from all over saying, oh my gosh, did you see?
Yes.
Actually, I had a sister up in Lawrence too, sent me the video because I've got some nieces that are big time into running, and said, did you see how cool this video was? And I said, did you notice this was a Cowley kid? It was really cool. I didn't even realize at first, but
It's pretty cool.
wasn't it? It was really awesome. And so to have an individual national champion like that in Esteban, tell us a little bit of what it's been like to work with him and the season he had in cross country.
He is when you get an athlete like that as a coach, you always hey, what do you think about this? Because I want his input. I want buy-in. It's and I'm sure you're like this as a coach too. Is you almost want to be, I tell my kids, like 50-50, man. Like if you got, because I'm trying to figure you out on the double. Like, so what you've had success with, I want to know. And what makes you feel good, I want to know. Obviously, there's a way of going about it, like a programming perspective. We can't just do whatever that you want, but like we want to make it make sense. And he's one of those guys that I constantly am bouncing ideas off of. Like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? He'll come to me. I want that. He's the third national champion individually that I've had here. All three of them, Adrian Diaz-Lopez, Lubna Suid, Esteban Bueso, all three have had that relationship with.
Wonderful.
But like, I want buy-in from them. And a big part of that is doing things that they feel good about on top of what we're trying to do structurally. So like, and he's one of them. Right before I came in here, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Yep. And we tweak it together. You know what I mean? Now, I can't do that with absolutely everybody, but I'll like, especially if they're not kind of in a little bit of a rut, I'll go to them like, hey, what do you think? What do you think you need? And, you know, and I want ideas. Now, if they're coming to me 2 minutes before practice start and we have to change, I'm like, no, we're going to do it this way. Yep. But I want them to give me feedback. And I want, like, you know, like just that kind of relationship, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
No, that definitely makes things go a little bit easier when your best player's involved.
100%.
Yeah, because I know that's how Jeff Wanquo and I were. When he believed that I believed in him,
yes,
then he gave everything he had for me in return. And I'm sure that's the same type of situation you're talking about with those three.
Yep.
And what are your thoughts on indoor nationals coming up?
It's going to indoor nationals is like track nationals is always crazy. We really hang our hat on the pole vault. It is because you know, like Coach Phillips set this up. We have 20 years of it's kind of a hard sport to get into as far as like the funding that you need. Like everything for track and field is expensive, but we have the setup for it. We have an indoor, we can vault year round. So we really like to be good with the pole vault, and we have, you know, 3 people inside the top 10 for both men and women. So we'll do well there. For both men and women, like women's side, we actually have the number 1 and number 2 ranked, and then our third, we actually have 4 girls qualified. We can only take 3, but we have 4 girls qualified in the pole vault, and our number 3 is number 10 right now. So top 8 is scoring.
How does that work though? If you have 4 that qualify, you only take 3. You got to make a tough decision.
Yeah.
So are you gonna like have them compete in practice, or
No,
like what's the
good thing about it is you can see the numbers.
Okay.
You know, like you can, like it's cut and dry. But that being said, like we always tell, like it's not necessarily cut and dry when it comes to like we're going to go with the hot hand sometimes. Like if somebody's like banged up or hurt or haven't been able to practice, sometimes we have to make that tough call and go with somebody that's more of a sure thing. You know what I mean? And then everywhere else, like on the women's side, we're looking, you know, we're ranked number 9 right now. On the men's side, we're ranked 20th. Okay. And that just came out yesterday. Okay. So if we get top 10, that'd be incredible. I know it's as far as just like what these other schools are working with.
Yeah, sure.
It's anytime we can get top 10 is awesome. And especially on the women's side, Yuvia Bennett, she qualified in 5 events. Linda Filipova's qualified in 6 events. They can only do 5, but we're not even do that because it's just a gauntlet. There's prelims, which means you have to qualify for the final. So we're going to zero in on, without giving away secrets, we're going to zero on a couple events and get after it on those and hope for the best. You know,
you've had some school records go down too here this season too, which has been great because, you know, throughout the history of Cowley track and field, it's hard to break some of these records. I mean, they've lasted 15, 16 years. Like we just saw Rochelle Farley's record from 16 years ago. We saw Katie Gilmore's record from clear back in 2009 or 10 as well. So speak to, you know, some of these unbelievable individual performances you've been having here in recent weeks.
So Kennedy Kangvangsa, I think that's how you say it. I just call her Kennedy K. Sorry, Kennedy. I still haven't figured out how to say your last name. But she just got the 60-meter hurdle record, which was, I knew, like, and that's one of the things I'm like, hey, you're going to be the best hurler in Cowley history. I kind of like chirped in her ear. She's pretty competitive and feisty, and I love that. And, you know, she got that this past weekend. Doesn't surprise me one bit. And then Kiki Burnham got the pole vault one, which, I mean, honestly, this early, that kind of surprised me. But, like, you know, the sky's the limit with her. It seems like she's very talented. And then Linda, we had 2 people going to the school record in the 1K. Linda Filipova actually has the record because she won the race, but didn't win the race, but beat Yuvia. But you're talking fractions of a second. So Yuvia Bennett is number 2 all time in the 1K now too.
Wow.
So pretty cool. Like they're in good company.
Really is.
Like that's the biggest thing is like, especially if you look at that pole vault top 5, all of them were national champions, and we got 2 girls in it right now.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty cool. Like
Wow.
we on that we have a top 15 list for all the events. We have 4 girls on our top 15, which is just nuts.
It
and
really is.
then same thing with the 60-meter hurdles. We have 4 in the top 15 this year. It's just like pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
To see that you recruited these kids and that they come in and that they're putting in the work. And I know so many times I talk to you and it'll be, doing a preseason, take on what your team's going to be like. And it's always talking about, well, it depends on the work they put in the off season. So, I mean, and as a runner, I mean, that's so important. You can't take days off. And like you mentioned, that was a big thing once you got to the collegiate level was that, you got to take care of your body now. You got to make smart decisions. And that's not easy for 18, 19, 20-year-old kids to have that kind of dedication. But that's something you got to have in your sport.
And one of the points I try to say too is like, hey, before we can have any growth on the court or in the track or on the cross country course, you got to like stabilize your life a little bit. Like in order to grow here, you have to grow. You have to, like you're coming. Mom and dad's not here anymore for you. You got to stabilize your life in the dorm. You have to stabilize your life in the classroom. And a lot of times that means being boring and not like, and having a bedtime, mom, dad's not here to put the controller away, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And being on top of like, cause stress compounds. If you have stress, if you let that stress compound from not doing well in wherever you're playing at, the field, the court, the track, whatever, and then you're really behind with your studies, like we want to manage that. And so the biggest thing I tell you got to stabilize your life before you can get stabilized gains everywhere else. So I think that's a testament to, especially, the guys are still developing and figuring it out, but it's really testament to our ladies this year.
I'm sure.
Yeah, my motto kind of on the same as keep the main thing, but that is super hard for incoming freshmen to understand because they've had so much success in high school, not understanding the difference of jump and competition in college.
Like everybody's good in college.
Yes, everyone.
So everybody's good. So guess what? You have to level up just a little bit on everything. If you can't have a diet of Twinkies and pizza and expect to do well.
Right.
Are you saying why that? Dang it.
No, that was that guy. I would eat the whole bag of pizza rolls in a day. It's like, holy crap, you can't. So I had to have a, come into Jesus moment with myself. It's like, if I want to do well,
Boy,
you need to do better. When it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like, it's not about being perfect. It's about being better. You know?
And I would feel like with wrestling or track and field and cross country, just discipline's got to be a little bit more because your body has to be in tune.
You have to recover.
To so many things.
Yeah. And I always tell this too, is like, you guys are so hyper fixated on the workouts. It's not the workouts that get you better. It's doing the workouts and recovering from the workouts.
Yeah.
So if you're doing the workouts and those are going great and you're not doing great on the recovery, then that's what's catching up to you. It's not doing the workouts. It's the lack of recovery that's holding you back.
Correct.
go ahead, Coach.
I was going to see thoughts on hosting region track and field meet this year.
Oh man, it's a worthy burden. That's my biggest thing. It's a burden. It's a lot to do. It is, but I think it's fantastic for community to get and our kids to get seen by the community and people around, and just get a little exposure from that. And like, we have a great team. So the good thing about track and field and the bad thing about track and field is that it's everywhere else but here. You know, we have 2 home meets this year. We have the Mark A. Phillips Tiger Classic. It's been, I think, 20th year of this, so it's the classic now.
Terrific.
And then doing the region meet, you know, we want to get any, you know, we want people to come see us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of work, but I think whenever you put your name on something, you have, the logo on it, you want to do a good job. So that's why we don't take it lightly. We want to put on and host a very, very good event. So.
Well, we've talked a lot about Coach Phillips, but you're building quite a legacy yourself here at the school now. Hard to believe that, what is this, year 7 now?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe how fast it's gone by, but with the success you've had too, I mean, do you look back at some of the accomplishments you've had and be able to enjoy those, or do you still feel like you still got more you want to accomplish?
I mean, like, whenever you're like, winning's cool, but it's not the only thing, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it's good to, like, hang your hat on things. Like, like the biggest thing is like, the disease of more is something I think about a lot. Like, you always can't just keep wanting more and more and more. But I do think it's good to put, whatever you're doing, to put your best effort forward for that, I think it's hard, like, even whenever you win a national title, you hold the trophy up, but as soon as you get back on that bus and you're heading back, like, you're like, okay, what's next? What's next? Like, who do I got coming back? Who do I got coming in? How are we going to repeat? How are we going to do this? And that's the biggest question mark. And the biggest thing that I kind of have to fight. It's like, okay, we got to really enjoy this in the moment, but at the same time, you don't want to be complacent. Like, I don't want to be that coach that won something, 15, 20 years ago. I want to keep doing our thing. And a big part of that is you got a school and a community that wants this out of our school, like our sports and our whole athletic department. So having that is 90% of it. And the other part's just me doing my thing, and like me and Parker and Glenn doing our thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that disease of more thing, that's a real thing. Because, I mean, once you achieve a certain level of success, like, you want to taste that again, and you want to taste it again right away.
Yes.
So I appreciate that kind of, it's a battle.
100%. And I don't think people realize how perfect things got to go.
They do.
For things to work out well sometimes. Like our ladies winning in 2023, I was like, we were driving down there, and I can see, like, we were in the van, the girls were and the guys were just getting sicker and I noticed too, because I was getting sicker and sicker. It's like, how is this going to turn out? The fact that like we drove down, got caught in a rainstorm, and we had to pull off, like, to do our shakeout. We went to a gym and ran on treadmills just because. And one of our top girls, Leticia Bilo, she had to stop after like a couple of minutes because she was so sick. Yeah. And she had to get on a breathing treatment after that race. And it's like, how did we do that? That was just incredible will. It was incredible, just want to kind of a deal. And those girls kind of fought for it and they wanted it. So it was I think back to that a lot. It was awesome.
Yeah, and those types of seasons, those are the moments you always remember, because that can make or break that championship.
Oh yeah. Like if one person has a bad day with cross, it doesn't go as well. You get 7 runners to get 5 scores. So if one of your top 5 kind of has a bad day, or like you saw the conditions for the national meet, and we were the 5th and 6th race on the course. Our girls were slipping and sliding, falling on their butts and getting back up. It was like one of the things I talked about with the girls right before the race. I'm like, this is epic. Yeah. You will remember this for the rest of your life. This is cool. That's the mindset you got to bring into this thing, rather than, woe is me, we're running in the snow and the cold.
Sure.
And our girls this year, it was a little bit bittersweet losing on a tiebreaker for 3rd, but, it was still awesome. It was incredible to be a part of that journey as well.
I bet. You still enjoy running yourself, and what are some things you enjoy in your free time away from the sport?
I enjoy it, but my body don't enjoy it as much. I need it. I keep saying this. I just need to get back into it, but I want to get back into it, and I know it's going to take a little bit of time. But I think the main thing that I like doing now is, like, I walk my dog pretty much every day. And we usually walk 2 to 2.5 miles, rain or snow or shine. Like, we'll be walking in the cold or in the snow.
Yeah, he appreciates that. Your dog does.
The biggest thing is, like, that's whenever like, he's a super hyperactive dog, so I have to. He wants to go. It's not me pulling him out the door, and he doesn't settle until I do. But that's one of the things. Like, it was the deal. I was like, all right, if I'm gonna get a dog, I have to do this, and like I do it for him more than me. But it's like that's just something I really like doing. And while I'm doing it, I'll listen to books, podcasts,
Well, good.
just all kinds of stuff.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Podcasts, what kind of things do you listen to? And then, outside of that too, music, TV interests. Tell us a little bit about those.
I love the On Coaching podcast, which is a distance runner nerdy thing. And the Cities, that's another distance thing. I like true crime stuff. I'm a little bit like, I like the murder stuff, like murder mystery kind of things. That's on YouTube. I'll listen to books. Like, I'm big into like Stoic kind of stuff, like with I'm blanking on his name right now, but there's several books on that and things. And like, as far as music goes, I'm definitely into punk rock. I love that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Are we talking going back to like the Ramones and stuff?
Yes,
or?
I love the
Okay.
Ramones, the Clash,
Uh-huh.
I'm the '90s stuff with the pop punk with Green Day,
Yeah.
Blink-182,
For sure.
NoFX, stuff like that. But yeah, and then on top of all the I like AC/DC, Queen, big Beatles guy.
Awesome.
I'll go back to Buddy Holly. I like Buddy Holly a lot.
Yeah.
But in '90s rap kind of stuff like that. So
Very eclectic then.
yeah. Oh, it's even more than that. I like country music. I
Coach
like
and I here too. I mean,
Alan
it
Jackson.
runs the gamut of music.
yeah.
That's great though. That you can
Depending
have
on
an
what mood I'm
appreciation
in.
for all kinds of different genres of music.
Yeah, and then like I'm big into like the early 2000s. What they call it, Chad rock or whatever. I don't know what it is. Like, I like Flaw, Corn, stuff
Sure.
like that. So
Excellent.
it just depends.
Yeah. If you're looking at a young coach comes up to you, or a young athlete of yours says, hey, I really think once I'm done, I'd like to maybe get into coaching. What advice would you give to someone that's thinking about that?
I'm looking back at like first year me. I'm like, all right, know what you're doing. And you may think you know what you're doing, but the more you get into it, the more you find out you don't know. And I think you can attest to that. And like that's the biggest thing. It's like every year I feel like I know less about this because it's more you're learning. Don't be above getting your hands dirty when it comes to, especially if you're an assistant. Don't be above getting your hands dirty and do things without being asked to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And just get way ahead with the logistics of things, because those, and you probably know about this, but those are the things that really take part of your time once you get into the season. The logistics, like knowing when you're going to get there, practice, all that kind of stuff, food, and don't be afraid to pass that off. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
And then learn and set up ways on how you can connect with your athletes, and then how they gel and connect with each other. Those are the biggest things that I've learned more or less like in the last 5-6 years is setting that up and really, really making time. Because it's very easy to be like, I don't have time. Like, I have to, you know what I mean? I have to do these other things.
Right.
But that is one of the things that I feel like has made major growth is connecting.
Terrific.
And experience is sometimes more valuable than pay
Agreed.
for young coaches.
100%.
That's probably the one I always think about the most is I feel like some new coaches are worried about the paycheck than the experience, and
Exactly.
you're not going to last very long if that's your
100%.
mindset.
You know how my first paid job was $1,500 for the whole season, and I
Yeah.
thought I was a millionaire. But learning, it's crazy what you can learn from somebody that's been doing it for 30 years.
Yes.
And it's more or less the how organized they are and how they connect than the X's and O's.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the invaluable part of a young coach right there,
Yes.
is learning those things.
Yes, and how they go about the day-to-day things. I was telling about that experience with Randy Stanley and Victoria High School, 60 people. He was so on his P's and Q's, and it was incredible. Because he had to do it by himself and he's still coaching. He's 70. He still runs 2 miles a day.
Boy.
And it's like he's
cool.
one of the most healthiest dudes I've ever seen in my life. But it was just a really. And then Coach McCullough is probably around 45 now, but how organized he was with things and how he's still doing probably 70, 80 miles a week of running and biking. And like, I don't know how he does it. Whenever he was a coach, he was maybe only sleeping 3-4 hours a night. Cause he's a big family guy. And, it was just a really cool experience to be around them.
Yeah, well, it's neat to hear you share these stories and to talk about some of your previous mentors, because I'm sure there's going to be kids that'll be having these conversations one day talking about you and how you influence them and help them get to where they're at one day. So.
Yeah. Oh, I could only hope. I say this a lot too. Is like if all you come here to do is experience the running, and that's the only thing. Like you're missing out on a lot of big life lessons and experiences. Like my biggest thing is like I want them to. I don't know if you are like this too, but maybe like I want them. Like my biggest compliment is like I wish Cowley was a 4-year.
Oh yeah, I hear that a lot from the kids, and I love hearing that. And you can't get much bigger compliment than that, because they hate leaving after those 2 years and wish that they could just stay. And we wish they could stay.
Me too. And, like especially the ones that you really gelled with and you really enjoyed being around. And some individuals like, okay, hey, you need to kind of go on and go somewhere.
Right.
But more often than not, you get the people that you just like, man, you really connect with, you want to be around, and it's crazy how fast 2 years can go with them.
Well, sure. Well, and it's crazy how fast our time can go too. So do you have anything else for Coach?
No, it's fun hearing a lot of your background on everything, Coach, and your history. Really appreciate you sharing.
I appreciate you guys coming out, and I appreciate you guys doing this as a kind of spotlight on our sport that don't always like it's just one of the we kind of behind the scenes kind of a deal. So
well, and it's great for us to be able to let people out there know more about all the great things you're doing here at the school. I mean, like you say, it is maybe a sport that sometimes gets overlooked. I hope you don't feel that way, because we all want to promote everything here at Cowley. All the great things you're doing: cross country, indoor track, outdoor track. So thank you for taking your time, Coach, because I know you're a busy guy, too, in season. So we wish you the best of luck at Indoor Nationals coming up. I'm sure you're all going to do great. So
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And if you don't mind, guys, we'll just wrap things up here with just a couple more things. While you're here still, Coach, I don't know if you knew this. I don't either one of you might not have known this, but, I decided I had some free time, so I recently got a side job. I've been sketching suspects at the police station. Did you guys know that?
Oh.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a con artist. So how you like that? All right. So not bad, huh?
That's a good one.
I wish I could get that $1,500 for that, but whatever, Coach. So. Now, we got some events coming up here at Cowley, too. As we mentioned, we've got the Indoor Nationals will be coming up here on March 6th and 7th. And, Coach, that's going to be at Washburn, right?
Yep.
So, and they got a great facility there.
Incredible. And the main thing I like about it's only 2 hours away.
Terrific.
2.5 hours away. So
Love that.
I love that aspect.
Yeah.
It's my hometown. We're up there, 7th through 12th grade. Well, not hometown, but
you guys are going to keep me busy that weekend, because I want to be there in Washburn. I want to be up at wrestling at Council Bluffs, Iowa, when the wrestling team's competing that weekend, too, at Nationals. You're going to be playing basketball on that 6th, I assume, for playoffs. We're hoping
it's coming
here at home on the 6th. So there'll be a lot of stuff going on that weekend of March 6th and 7th. But speaking about your Tiger basketball teams, too, you're and Coach Clark's Lady Tigers, too. The men and women will be in action tomorrow, 5:30 and 7:30 at Independence. And then you're going to have your final regular season games on Wednesday on Saturday when you go to Seward. Speaking of the men's side of things, Indy and Seward, two teams that you're right there battling for position for those playoff spots. So big week of basketball for the Tigers.
we're all right there. We're one game out of 3rd, and we're one game out of 9th.
And that just shows
And
you
there's 5 teams that are tied for 4th right now. So it's a big week for not just the Tigers, but everyone in conference.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a team with a winning record that's going to go on the road. And that'll be the first time in conference history that's happened.
Incredible. Just speaks to the parity in the conference, and just, it is.
It's insane.
Unreal. But then also Wednesday, March 4th will be our final regular season game, and that's going to be at home against Barton County. And we're going to need the crowd to come out. Big support in that one, because, as we say, there'll be big conference implications in that game. And Barton, one of the hottest teams in the conference right now, too.
They are the hottest team in conference, no question about it.
Well, and then also your number 18 ranked Tiger softball team is playing a doubleheader this afternoon at Pratt. That's getting ready to start here in just a few minutes. Also, your number 16 ranked Tiger baseball team will host a 4-game series versus Indian Hills beginning Friday at 1 p.m., and then they'll play another doubleheader Saturday at 1. And your number 2 ranked Lady Tiger tennis, number 5 ranked Tiger men's tennis teams are playing this afternoon at Bethel College, and then they'll compete again on Saturday at 2 p.m. at Southern Arkansas. So a lot of good things going on at Cowley College. We appreciate Donnie Jackson filling in today for Coach Burroughs. Appreciate Coach Rieth for being here and getting to learn a lot more about him and his programs, and appreciate Chris Ripley, as always, for being able to do all the work behind the scenes to bring this to you. So for episode 9 of the Behind the Stripes podcast, I'm Rama Peroo. We'll look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday.